Okay, so Lee Ticket was just describing something that one of our team members ran into with the test. Um, Let me see if I can open up the diff. But he might have already updated it. Do you mind describing what had happened?
Yeah, essentially front end spec, um, checking a checkbox and ensuring that that checkbox was updating some text. Um, the the actual functionality works fine when you try it through the browser, but the spec was failing. Console log was kind of showing the code path was working correctly and was attempting to set it to what it should be set to, but you check it before and after and it didn't actually update.
Yeah, and what you the key thing that you mentioned was, and what was discovered was that it was, rather than using the element attribute text content, which you would use to normally set the text, it was using the attribute inner text. And
Bingo.
I totally, when you first mentioned inner text, I was like, that should work. And then I realized, wait, that's not the one we use. And that's, it hurts so much how much history there is in our JavaScript world with things that aren't really used. um, but here's what I'm seeing when I look up inner text. Easily confused with text content, but there's important differences. Basically, inner text is aware of the rendered appearance of the text. And I wonder if this is just a getter, or no, it looks like you can, yeah, no, it looks like you can, when you
Yeah, well, it
read
was
from it.
working perfectly well in the browser.
Okay.
So it's you touched on something I think a minute ago where you mentioned that the tests don't run in a browser, so they don't have the full API available to them. So that method is maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, not mocked or not implemented. So maybe
Yep.
that's,
Yep.
is
So
that something we can Google? Can we see if Jest or whatever it is that
yeah,
we're using
so we
implement?
use jsdom, and so we can look up jsdom inner text. And here is an issue from 2019 of dupe. This one was duped. It's a great tool for web scraping. Text content is inconvenient, but here's inner text. Inner text is not standard and not. Oh man, I got lots of thumbs downs. But this seems like it's still open. I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Oh look, they're migrating from the Karma to Jest. Yeah, they're still talking about it, so it's just not done. But we have a number of places where we've shimmed inner text to behave, or we've shimmed JSDOM or like in our test environment.
Oh,
Um,
interesting. Okay.
Let me show that in our code base. Let me double check. Am I over here on master? I am. So in our code base, over in spec.
So Paul, you're not using GitLab workflow.
I'm not. You've caught me. That's 100% my fault too. We
Have
have
you started playing yet, or?
so I need to. And
I'm spreading the word, man. I'm spreading the word.
I know, and we're recording. You caught me. I need to, and it's really cool. I just need to. The issue, I haven't gotten into it yet. When we were first doing it, because it does require like your API token, and we don't have like really good scoping for those tokens. Usually, I hit that input of, hey, put your API token here, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. So that's the barrier. That's a
Conspiracy
personal
theories.
Yep. I'm I'm
No, it's cool.
paranoid by
It's something
nature.
that I saw a
So
long time ago, and I don't know why I didn't jump on it. Maybe I wasn't using VS Code at that point. Now
totally.
I am.
It
And
is really cool. And I know that Tomas, who's working a lot on it, he's
absolutely, yeah. I had a quick chat with him the other day. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but it doesn't work on my GitLab instance. But
oh
so
no.
it's some crappy Windows Node.js SSL, like you know how it's one of these edge cases that just a million things come together to cause. So I was like, right, I'm going to spin up a dev environment of the extension and have a look if I can do some debugging.
Good.
But of course, trying to spin up a Node.js dev environment on Windows with all these other dependencies and stuff. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
a bit further down the line. Anyway, sorry, I go off on a tangent.
No, you're
You're
good.
showing me some shimming, right?
Yeah, we're shimming. So here is where we load a whole bunch of things that shim into like our, element prototype and other
So do you
things.
have to specify these when you want them to be shimmed, or will they all
They're
automatically
always
be?
all gonna be there. Yeah. So
Ah,
this
so
is
we
like,
could consider, if we didn't want to tell people don't use inner text, we could have considered this as a route to,
yes, we could
but
have.
that's not what we want to do. I know. I
Well, so
realize.
here's the situation.
Oh, hang on a minute. Inner text is there.
No way. Do you see it? Oh my gosh. What? So how did it not work?
Oh, that's even more interesting, isn't it? Ah, hang
That
on. Is this if you
is.
call inner text in the test? Will it handle if we call in a text in the actual code base, or should it handle that?
Look, this is I must have done this a while ago.
It's
um,
your fault.
apparently. So that's interesting. How come it didn't work then? Uh, you know, let me double check that this is running. The test was running. Let me see, where was the test? We were here. Let me look at the previous commit.
That's the good thing. I suspect if you go back to maybe the first
This one.
one,
This
how
one,
long
this
ago
commit
would it?
looks like it's using is the one that's doing switch.
Okay, yeah, go back one.
So this,
Although I have a feeling I suggested changing it to inner HTML because that passed the test, even though that again wasn't a good solution, but it
really?
worked. So you might need to go back
All right,
a
I'm gonna
little
go to
bit
the
further.
pipeline and see which pipeline did
I mean,
it.
I can tell you roughly how many hours ago. So what's it now? It's 3:30. This would have been
Probably here.
about 6 hours ago or so. Yeah, that looks good.
Let's see this one. Let me look at. I'm going to go to brown. No, let me see that. Class list text. Oh, this is using text content.
This is the test is, but the actual code isn't.
Oh, that was the situation. The test was using text content, but the code was not.
Correct.
Well,
Not, but
that.
then it didn't make any difference if you changed the test to also
Oh,
use inner
right.
text.
Let's do something fun then. Let's
Check it out.
check out this commit. So we are on the commit, and I would have expected this to work because we have that shim. And we're looking at this usage statistics spec.
Yep.
Ooh, which one is it?
Front
Metrics and
end.
profile. This one. Okay, here we go. So we were using text content, and we run this, see what happens. Yarn run just. Bum, bum. Are we reading from fixtures? We are. I don't think
Yeah.
fixtures. That's okay. I can grab
If
it
you
from
don't
here.
already have it, I have the command to generate that single fixture. Would that help? Or
I'm actually gonna cheat. Um, I'm gonna grab it from the pipeline. Uh,
cool.
so sometimes you can do that.
That's cool. That's a nice tip from the video.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty helpful. So this is coming from application settings usage. I'm here in fixtures. This looks like not the right job. So the downside is some of our pipelines, we have them split up to multiple jobs. So they're all going to do different ones. That's not going to be the right one either. So maybe this is the right one. Boom, 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 boom. Application settings, usage. Yep, 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 yep. So I'm going to copy this link. Okay, yes, and we're not working because we're not loading the fixture. So I'm going to copy the link, and I'm going to go to where we should put it. Tests. Is that where it lives? Yeah, it should live in front end. Do I not have a front end in here? I guess I don't. I did recently have to like.
If you do fancy cheating.
Application settings. Okay, let me call this. I am being redirected. Oh no! No, it doesn't like me curling it. All right, I'm gonna have to just click it and save it, I guess. I'll save it to my desktop as usage HTML.
Why is it read? Oh, God, no.
Desktop, usage HTML, here, boom, we got it. Okay, great. Boom. Now we're gonna run yarn. All right, we're gonna run jest, and it's running, and we're expecting this to fail.
We are.
Okay, because it did
Boom.
not update the message, right?
Exactly.
So but I would expected this thing to run if we were using inner text, which we are. So what is the code that's actually being tested here is this usage statistics one.
Bingo.
Okay, and so this is using inner text.
Spot on. Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna add some console logs here, like
awesome. Yeah.
we are in just inner text get just inner text set. I'll double check that we're actually doing that. Here we go.
I just tried to adjust the size of your terminal there.
I can, yeah, I can make this bigger. Let me make it bigger.
No. Zoom wise, it was fine. That's exactly what I tried to do, realizing
oh,
it wasn't
I see.
my screen.
Like...
Zoom level was fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. So it is setting it quite a bit. It is setting it. So you would have expected, I would have expected this before.
So I'm cool on how you want to approach this, Paul, but what we could do, we could do one of two things. We could keep attacking and trying to understand what on earth, why that doesn't work. But also the super cool thing that we decided we might try and do is create some kind of magic rule somewhere that prevents us from using. Yes. I don't know. This one might end up like one of Alice's rabbit holes. I don't know.
But she had such a lovely adventure.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. I really do.
I am concerned. Like I am. It's a red flag for me of like, wait, this should have worked,
Yeah,
and I want to
absolutely.
know why. And
Yeah.
so if this should have worked, maybe we shouldn't have like why create the rule to stop it. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
yeah, I to some extent I agree, but then it sounded to me like maybe there is a best practice, a sort of like, oh no, we probably shouldn't be
yep, you
using
bring up a good
inner
point.
text in the
You bring up
first
a good
place.
point. I I think yeah, we usually don't use inner text.
Is it as easy as adding?
It is. It would be almost as easy as adding a little rule here.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
So
in
that's
which
why
case
I'm not.
that part of the call might be super easy then.
Yeah, that's why I'm not super concerned about it.
Cool.
But yes, where we're doing our ESLint rules, um, it is very likely we can add. I have to find. We'll have to find the right rule,
Yeah.
but one would probably let us. There's probably one that says, "Hey, we're just not going to let us have this kind of attribute that
Yeah.
we're setting to." And um, I know we've done some things like that. But this does bring us to a different rabbit hole where our ESLint is actually a good section of the rules is actually set outside of this file so
Right.
that all of our projects can use kind of the same linting rules.
Okay.
So it'll take just some spelunking, but in my humble opinion, I'm really, for me personally, I'm really interested in why this isn't working because it
Cool.
should
Yeah.
work. Uh,
Let's dig.
okay, so I wanna dig. I wanna see what goes down the rabbit hole.
So you know this is being cool. So do you want to in the usage statistics.js, do you want to change it to call .text content and just make sure that does pass before? So basically bypass this shim by calling text content directly and just make sure that does pass this test. Did that make sense, or have I lost you a bit there?
I'm thinking. Uh, I think it made sense. I am I have multiple things I'm getting a little concerned about. I don't I don't know what's going on here. So check this out. Here I'm doing inner text set and I'm setting before this is our text content and after this is our text content, and you see it's the same, the before and after,
um,
you know?
yes, and that's exactly the behavior I was seeing when I was doing a console.log
Really?
in usage statistics.js. But I was using the dot inner text property, but that's what I was seeing. So it looked like it was the text was what you expected it to be before. It was setting it as you expected it to set, but then when you checked it afterwards, it hadn't changed.
That's so
Um,
wild. What's
so
going
there's
on there? So
something to do with JSDom that I am
that's
completely
what I'm
unfamiliar
concerned
with.
about. Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about is I don't know, like, this should work. And so I'm concerned about our test environment being wonky. How deep down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
So did you just going back to what I was suggesting a minute ago in
Yep.
usage statistics.js,
Yep.
can we just change the dot inner text set to dot text? That's it. Just run the text spec and just make sure that
Just make sure this
works.
one actually works. Good
Exactly.
idea. Let's do that.
Which I expect it will do because that's what's been changed and is now passing.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so the fact that so now we're really specifically kind of looking at this shim, this wrapper, and saying, hey, hang on a minute, like you're supposedly calling this thing that when we call directly works.
Yep.
So what
Yeah. So
could
here's
it be as I don't know what the terminology is, but the objects. So we're calling this dot text content text content. Could it be the reference to this? Could there be anything weird about?
Gosh, I hope not. Oh, you might be right.
I don't understand. what I'm
No,
talking about, but
no. Oh, is that it? No, I think we'd be fine.
right,
That's
okay.
a really good. That was a really good question. If I was doing something like this, yeah, we'd be really messed up. But these should be not arrow functions, but actual functions. And the
Okay.
way properties work, it should let us do this the right way. But what I'm really concerned about is, regardless of that, you see here we were trying to set it before, and then after it didn't change. So here's what I'm gonna do. Have you ever debugged a jest spec?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
You attach Chrome to it in some weird way, right?
Yeah, let's do it. Gosh, I don't remember how to do it.
No, nor do I. I have a feeling when you run it that Chrome just kind of pops up and.
Well, so you have to do this like inspect break thing. I think that's the argument for it. And then you run the oh, I'm in the wrong place. Let me go back to my. Okay. So you do this like inspect break thing, and then you have to get your the jest entry point. We're gonna run that, and we're gonna run this spec there. But then it's gonna stop for me. Yeah. So it says now we have this WebSocket
Yeah.
here. We're debugging. So yep, open up Chrome. Hopefully Chrome will open up for me.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when I did this, especially running Windows. Right? It worked.
Sounds like you might need to I should look into getting a Linux machine or something, maybe.
That's pretty much what I do now. I just remote all my development, but yeah, just some things that we do in the day job that don't allow me to completely bin it off.
Yep. And you're doing .NET, right? You're doing C#.
Yeah, although now .NET Core is super awesome cross platform, but
it's not the same. I've used .NET Core, and like also using all of the editors and stuff for C# and what editor are you all using for .NET?
So Visual Studio itself,
Really?
rather than VS Code at the moment. And I'm sure there's some cool debugging extensions and bits in VS Code, but I've yet to do any debugging that's as awesome as when you just put breakpoints in Visual Studio and can hover 100%. Over stuff and see the values and manipulate the values and execute arbitrary code. And don't get me wrong, binding pry and bug and stuff like that's pretty cool. Although your front end world, so that might not mean quite that much to you. But
no, I know what you mean.
But okay, these are hoops that we sort of jumping through to attach a debugger and stuff. But you're there, right?
Yes, I do want to before I continue. Have you heard of and have you used Writer? My brother does .NET. He's a .NET developer. He loves
Writer. But it's come up like the name's really familiar for some reason. That's an IDE, right?
Yeah, and it's JetBrains, so it's not. It's you got to have a license for it and stuff. Whatever.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. No. So I've sort of been toying a bit with what's right. JetBrains is Reflector or something. Is that kind of add-on?
Do they have ReSharper?
That's it. Sorry, yeah, that's it exactly.
Yep.
It's a bit bloaty, like it slows you down and does offers a lot of stuff that you probably don't want. But that's where I owe a huge gratitude to GitLab for sort of helping me to start to introduce a lot of the cool like linting and awesome stuff that happens that we were missing out on lots of that.
Yeah. Well, if you're in the market for IDEs for .NET development, my brother has loads of good things to say about
awesome.
Writer,
cool.
and he uses the whole JetBrains suite for like anything he's doing now. So he's got I guess like how you can get like an Adobe membership for all of their products.
Somebody
that for like JetBrains.
Somebody did say to me that I couldn't remember if it was in IntelliJ or there's one of the IDEs is essentially all of the other IDEs like in a single IDE, and you can like if you
Yes,
want to use
something
it
like
and
that.
use it like I can't remember, Ruby Mine, I think. If you want to use it like that, you can use it like that. If you want to use it like Android Development Studio, you can use it to do any development on any different, and
Yep.
it just sort of flips into the relevant mode.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so here we are. This one, the value is the same as the text content, so we wouldn't expect anything to change. Here, the value is going to change, where it's actually going to be different. See, the value we're trying to set is you can enable. This is to enable. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm wanting to jump into this assignment. Ah, did you not let me actually do it? Oh, it actually did change. Did it actually change? Oh no. So this .text content is you can enable. I set it to that value. But now afterwards, this is still saying to enable. Yeah, let me add a breakpoint here and here. All right. I'm gonna have to rerun this, but I added breakpoints on the text content set. Waiting for the debugger to disconnect. Oh, fine. All right. Boom. All right, let's do it again. Boom. Oh, I gotta open it up here. Here we go. All right, we're debugging. You saw like so jsdom has a whole bunch of logic for that text content thing, and it is like a.
So you're looking here at the actual definition of text content, essentially.
Yes. So this is for jsdom. This is how they've defined getting text content. And oh, I guess they use some symbols for doing some things.
This is
All right, we're gonna
super foreign to me what the commands it was doing in there.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna let this one keep going.
Right, so it's set to enable. Is this the first test or the second? Were you just running the second test, or are you running both tests at the moment?
I am running both tests.
So the first test doesn't actually change anything, if that makes sense.
Yep, and that's why I'm just gonna skip it.
Perfect.
You can enable to enable.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
This
is the one that's set to enable at the moment, and we want to change it to you can enable.
To enable. Yeah.
Perfect.
So when I do this, this is HTML paragraph element. Oh my gosh. What?
What's your picture is on top of that?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. So there's two.
Dive it into this. No, do you see it? Oh my gosh.
Oh, context. Typo in the shim. Typo in the shim.
Oh,
did I get it right?
Yes. Who did that? It was me.
Who's this you character they talk about?
Gosh, you know.
So have we got specs for our shims?
Nope. So that's it. That's why it was.
Go on then, change it and let us watch it go.
Man, I'm glad we went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm glad to give give another angle of the story.
Yeah.
Oh man, chasing down a character. We were looking at this. We were looking at it for a long time.
The other thing that I would love to know is if we disabled or deleted or whatever the term is this shim, would it have worked if this wasn't even
that's
here?
a good question. So this is passing now.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's great. Yeah, and so it's not going to work without that, because inner text isn't actually used. So yeah.
Did it say anything about it being undefined? I missed that. Is it because
No,
jsdom doesn't define inner text, or
no. So it's what's going to happen is, on the browser, if you set inner HTML, inner text, text content, they all kind of update each other.
right?
So it's more than just setting a single property.
Okay.
But and that's why JSDOM had all that logic for inner text. I mean, not for inner text, for text
For
content.
text content, yeah.
Since JSDOM doesn't know anything about inner text, when I set to it, it's just going to treat it like a regular property. So
Okay. So can you call any property even if it doesn't exist, and it'll just
that's one of the good things and bad things about JavaScript.
right. So if they were cool or clever or whatever you want to call it about it, they would have mapped inner text content and inner HTML kind of all to some underlying property that then syncs,
and that's really the responsibility of JSDOM, because that's specific to how that property is expected to work.
Yeah.
Another approach would be if I updated
As long as you call the same property. Yeah.
That would have worked
Gotcha.
as well.
Awesome. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, awesome. So
we totally fixed something though here.
Absolutely.
Gosh, feels so bad.
Now, I'm just wondering how easy it is for you to kind of like pick that and chuck it into an MR, or if it's easier just to start from scratch almost and spin up a branch. But then the other thing we had was, do we think, should we check our style guides, etc., to see whether there is a reference to say, look, you shouldn't really be using inner text?
I think that's a good idea. And let's put this in its own MR, and then maybe we could just update our guide. Rather than updating our guide, it would be nicer to update an ESLint rule about it.
Yeah, sorry, I was more referring to, I'm hoping that it's already in our guide. If it's not, it makes me think, well, should we actually be banning it, or
well, I don't know, it kind of works, but it does. I think when you retrieve from it, it's different than text content. We usually just always use text content.
So that seems like a good enough reason to add the linting rule, but I'd like it if it was in the guide in the first. But I mean,
you see how often it's used. I mean, it's used a bit. Maybe
that's more than a bit, right? Does it tell you how many 213 results?
Yeah, it's used a bit. So saying we're not going to use anymore means we need to test. We need to update. I mean, we can add, and that's usually what we'll do, is we'll add an ESLint rule, and then we'll disable it here. We'll disable the pre-existing references, so that nothing new shows up.
And would you do that by adding something to the ESLint file, or would you have to modify all of these files?
You modify all of them, and you add like a ESLint disable next line thing. And it's pretty nice.
But you can do that in a sort of, you can run a command and it will just
it's not that bad. We've done
it. Nobody will cry over your MR with 213 modified files.
It's worth, I don't know how great we'll feel about it, but it's worth seeing if we can do it real fast. Fixing this is absolutely we should do. So I'm going to actually, because I checked out a commit, I think.
You did, right?
Yeah. I'm going to actually I'm going to actually stash this. Check out master again. Okay. Oh gosh, what is wrong with you? What is this? Oh, is it better? Is it getting better? Okay. I'm going to check out a branch. PSLT. Fix typo and inner text shim. And pop the stash. Yep.
Awesome. Simple as that, right?
Fix typo and inner text JSDom shim. this shim wasn't working because we were setting to text context versus text content. Yep.
Do you not need to put the old changelog trailer in, or
no? Because it says no user-facing change. I was thinking about that, but I was like, no, this is just a test thing, so we should.
So what? How does danger? Does it not moan regardless? Has it got something clever to no? I thought you had to always do it now.
Danger will still.
It'll moan, but you ignore it.
Awesome. It might know that I'm just changing spec files, so it might know that. But usually it's usually warning, like saying, hey, do you need to do this? Are you sure? So you still have to kind of just keep it in your mind about it. But yeah, let's push this up. I am gonna have to I do have a hard stop at the top of the hour.
No worries, I should probably get back to the real world then as well.
The real world. Even though it's my day-to-day job to contribute to GitLab, doing fun, this is fun to me. So even like getting back to the real world is like, okay, we're gonna put these fun problems.
No. So I like, it was my sort of, I'm not happy with we just don't use that. We don't use in a text. We use text content. That for me, that wasn't enough. It's like, well, why doesn't it work?
And usually a smell like that indicates there's something else. And I'm blown away we were looking at this file for so long.
Yeah.
That was pretty wild. But it wasn't until I saw this
side by side, yeah. And I was looking at the two, and I was like, "Is it defined twice?"
That's what I thought too. I was like, "How in the world is that happening?"
I thought it's one a setter and one a getter, or like. But yeah, no, awesome.
That is a trip. But yeah, that was so wild. Well, I know we're also thinking of doing an ESLint thing. I'll take a quick look at that, and I'll ping you to see if I can whip up an MR that would do that. I'll take a quick look.
No, I mean, yeah, we could even just create an issue off the back of this MR or something.
Yeah, but if it only takes me 5 minutes to find the right rule and the right thing, then I might try to do that, and I'll include that in our pair programming video. But
awesome.
This was fun. In the end, we just changed one character.
Well, yeah, that's got to be the smallest MR that's humanly feasible. But yeah, awesome. Great to catch up as always, Paul. And
appreciate it.
Until next time.
Yes. See you later. Hey, and always feel free to ping on the Slack channel, and I can send this link. If you want, I don't know. It sounds like you don't have access to the front end calendar yet.
No. Yeah. Is it always the same link, or
it might actually be different. So
I'll always just do like I did today and just drop you a shout. Great stuff. Thanks, Paul. Catch you later. Cheers.
Bye.